Hi, my name's Ian and welcome back to my Peugeot Boxer camper van build. This is episode 9. This video is a little bit different to the ones that I normally do in the fact I'm going to be fitting a Polyvision Aero window into one of my back doors this afternoon. So I'm going to take you through my installation of it. Whether it's the correct one or not is up for debate, but I'm following the instructions which don't actually come with the window when you buy them. Well, not for where I got it from anyway, but I've gone on to Magnum Motorhomes website and downloaded the information off of there. So it gives you the full instructions on what to do with regards to the opening itself, how big your frame needs to be, how many brackets to fit and in what order you fit them in, that type of thing. Anyway, we'll get straight into the build now, and I'll show you the installation of the window, and I'll come back to you at the end. Some of the tools I'm going to be using today to carry out this task is obviously you need the window, instructions which unfortunately don't come with the window itself. You have to go and get those from Magnum Motorhomes. If you go onto their website you can download it. I will put a link into the description on the video. You're going to need some clips, you're going to need something circular to form the edges when you cut around the windows, you're going to need a jigsaw with a metal cutting blade, some Sikaflex 221, a pencil, tape measure, black marker pen, some blue tape, paper towel, methylated spirits, masking tape, some gaffer tape, some paint to cut touch around the windows. I always use red so I can see what I'm doing. I also use cotton buds as well to paint with rather than using the paintbrush. You need a file and also some high-tack adhesive for sticking your timber frame, which also is in the picture there. So you need a timber frame to go around the outside of the window itself. You need to make sure the window frame is at least 5mm bigger all the way around than what the frame opening is on the inside. So I'll demonstrate this by slipping it over the top now. So the frame sits over the inside of the inner lip. Right, so you can see what it's doing. So it moves backwards and forwards that way a bit, and also moves backwards and forwards the other way a bit. That frame is required for these brackets to fit onto. There is fixing tensors for these brackets, which I'll go into in a bit. I've now positioned the frame onto the back of the door to where I want it, and I've now drawn around it. I'm now going to measure that and just make sure that that's all in the right place. Right, I now have the mark on the inside of the door of the actual square itself, but what I now need to do is make the radius corners for the shape of the window. That's a 75 degree radius. This particular window I'm going to be fitting today is a 500 by 400, but the actual overall dimensions of the window are 430 by 530. So obviously that allows you then to get your mastic around all the flange while you fit it back in. To create my radius, I've used this, it's actually from rewritable CDs. It's actually part of the case that the CDs came in, and I found it's absolutely perfect for getting this external corner correct. And now for the butt clinching bit. You've drilled the hole, it's time to cut the window out. Whilst cutting out the window, I always put some tape on there. It just helps prevent the metal from chattering as you're trying to cut around it, and also it helps hold it in place so it doesn't eventually just fall out onto the ground once you've got it all cut out. I'll apply the tape basically on both sides. And remember while you're cutting to always make sure you wear safety glasses. That's the hole fully cut out. Now time to remove the tape. Well, that's it. Now I'm going back now. We now have a hole. Right, after you've cut the hole out, make sure you file all the edges, and then you need to get some paint to protect the edges of it. I always use red hammerite, so at least I know then where I've got the where I've marked up and where I haven't. Now apply plenty of sealant around your frame. I've used Sudal Fix All. Once you've lined up your frame, to make sure you use plenty of clamps to hold it in place. The other thing I do as well, because the metal likes to spring, and you'll see when you cut it, is also just to put a bit of timber up the outside as well, just to keep the whole thing nice and straight, so at least when you come to put the window in, everything's nice and flat. Before physically fixing the window to the hole, what I like to do is actually go slightly one step ahead from this page to the next, and basically install or pre-tap the holes for these brackets, which basically have to locate into this little slot down here. So what I'm going to do is I'll be drilling through, well not drilling through, screwing through. Don't you be tempted to use a hand driver for this process. Always use it. Sorry, not a hand driver. Don't use an electric screwdriver. Just use a hand driver for this process, because you don't want to over screw these in there, because you'll basically just screw them straight back out again. On the next page there is actual instructions. Not that page. The next page. There's instructions on how many brackets to fit for each, or depending on what size window you're installing. So my front window I'm installing is going to be 10 pieces is what I'm going to be installing there, and there's actual specific order that you have to screw them in. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pre-tap the holes, so at least when I come to put them in there I haven't got to faff about trying to remember where they all go. Right, it's about 2 hours later now. The glue that I've used to stick the frame on has now gone off. The paint that I've used around the edges is all now dried. I've just put the window into the aperture to make sure it fits, and now the next job will be to just clean around the outside of the aperture, just to make sure everything's all nice and clean, remove any excess paint etc. that looks like it's spilt out there from these clamps. Let's get all that off with some methylated spirits, and then we'll be ready then to think about fitting the frame itself. I'm just going to, before putting the sealant around the frame, I'm just going to get some methylated spirits and just have a wipe around the actual frame itself, just to remove any potential contaminants that might be on there, oils etc. This Sikaflex 221, if you've ever used it, it's a very gunky, sticky product, so it's highly advisable to wear gloves while you're using it, because otherwise it gets on your hands, and believe you me, it's very difficult to get off. It takes days to get it off your hands, so yeah, wear gloves. Basically, to fit the window now, the instructions say that I need to put an 8mm bead of sealant around the edge of it, so that's what I'm going to do next, and then I'll offer the window up to the aperture. I've now applied the bead of mastic all the way around the window opening. There may well be probably too much, but I'd rather have too much than not enough, and then obviously have to clean it out afterwards. I've now temporarily just taped the window into place just to hold it there while I then get the brackets sorted out. As you can see in the instructions, depending on how thick your window is, depends on which way around you put your brackets. I mentioned earlier about how many brackets you might need for each window, and actually in my case I can get away with only 8 brackets rather than the 10 I mentioned earlier on. On the next page of the instructions it tells you in what order you should fix your brackets. What I'm going to be doing mine is I'm just going to fix all of my brackets but not tighten any of them up, and just get the window pinched in position so I can then just align it into the correct position, and then I'll then tighten them up in the order that it says in the instructions. I've now got all the brackets in position. I'm now going to go around the other side of the door and just check the alignment of the window to of the other parts of the door itself. You know, there's some areas where the bodywork sort of bumps out, so I just want to make sure that's nicely in line and straight. And then once I've done that, I'll then start tightening up the brackets in the correct order on the instruction sheet. Right, I've checked my alignment now. I'm now going to tighten up the brackets. Right, all of the brackets have now been tightened up, and as you can see there is excess sealant squirting out around the edges of the frame itself, which now all needs to be cleaned off. I'll be using a combination of a plastic scraper and some methylated spirits just to get it cleaned up. Wearing gloves obviously, because this is messy stuff. And there we have it, one fully installed Polyvision Aero rear window. And there it is from the inside. So it's got a little bit dark now. These windows, you can get them either as they are, like this. I'm not quite sure how much those ones are, but you can also then get them the same as what I have, with the blind that goes on them afterwards. Can't remember exactly how much I paid for it now, but you're talking probably around £230 to £250, something around that sort of figure for it. But yeah, there we are, the Polyvision Aero window fully fitted. Just thought I'd show you just a little quick view from the captain's seats end of the van. As you can see, the window lets in a bit more light now. It is actually getting a little bit dark now. It's probably about 8 o'clock in the evening while I'm doing this, so yeah, the light's dropping off. You also may notice as well that I've built an end unit in there as well, with a little cupboard. Got the door on there now, and also the other day started the bed frame as well. So I'll just excuse the mess down. That's just the tools I've been using today. But yeah, that's sort of where we get into at the moment. But yeah, there we are. Thank you very much. Well, hope you enjoyed that video and hope it was of use to some people. I was asked by one of my subscribers whether I would actually show the installation, so obviously that's what I decided to do today. As I said, I'm quite pleased with the install itself. It went fairly easily. For anyone who's thinking of fitting one of these, you really, depending on the time of the year, but you really want to be allowing yourself around 4 hours to install it. Probably 2 of those hours are the drying of the paint that you put on around the opening once you've cut it out, and also the drying of the whatever adhesive you use to stick your frame on. You need to clamp that in position, and as I said, the whole thing needs to then just sit there for a good couple of hours, or as I said, depending on the time of the year, might need to leave it longer than that. So probably allow you to have a whole day for the installation of one of these windows. As usual, please take a like, please subscribe, and if you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. Thanks very much. Cheers now, and thanks for watching.